Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and today on Robbie's Reads, we're going to be talking about Pooh-say by Daniel Clowes. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and today on Robbie's Reads, we're going to be talking about another Daniel Clowes book, Pooh-say. This is a scathing and humorous criticism on the comic book industry, right? So this is from the pages of 8-Ball, right? We talked a little bit a while ago about Daniel Clowes' book, The Death Ray, which was the final issue of 8-Ball. Well, the story of Pooh-say, who is a comic book artist and professional comic book artist, in fact, a successful comic book artist, right? This is his story, and it was told in individual chapters throughout the early publications of 8-Ball, right? So this is all collected in a graphic novel format. It collects pretty much every single one of the Pooh-say stories. I think there is one that's left out of this, but it makes one really cool story, right? And it's told in different chapters. You got the story of young Dan Pussey and the young manhood of Dan Pussey, and then like other things about the comic book industry, right? So this first and foremost is a criticism of the comic book industry, and it's almost like, and I think in the introduction, Daniel Clowes says that he approached this as a little bit out of resentment, right? Or like he's going for revenge because he was in the comic book industry, he wasn't making a lot of money, and he was seeing the holes behind the curtain, if you will, right? So Dan Pussey is a comic book artist. He gets hired by this dude named Dr. Infinity, who's very much a Stan Lee type character in this book, right? And not viewed in a very good, positive light, okay? That being said, Dan Pussey and his fellow artists, just in typical Daniel Clowes fashion, they're not necessarily the most likable people either. They're social misfits. They got their own problems. They're a little antisocial. They got their own quirks, right? And that's something that I really like about Clowes' work, is that he shows the wide range of and the mundane nature of this type of just existence, I guess I should say, right? And sometimes it's a very depressing read to read some Daniel Clowes stuff, but I think it's necessary at times, and it is very real. And the most real stuff here is the treatment of comic book creators, right? So Dan Pussey gets hired to be a penciler, and so Dr. Infinity basically makes everybody live in this one place, and they're cranking out all these works. They don't really get paid well and all this kind of stuff. Over time, Dan Pussey becomes one of the top comic book talents in this fictional world, right? And so we see his rise, we see his beginnings and his rise, and we also see his fall. Like where he winds up, how that all falls apart, and it's a sad and tragic tale that a lot of comic book creators have gone through, right? You're at the top of your game one moment, next thing you know, that artist is just gone, not getting work. He's been replaced by some new, young up-and-comer who's doing it for a percentage of the page rate, right? What's going on there, right? You got the conflict between creatorship and production, right? And that's elevated here. And there's even a moment where Dan Pussey tries to go, let's say, legitimate, right? And he wants to go and make independent comics, right? So this isn't just criticizing like Marvel and DC and those kind of publishers, but even independent publishers. In fact, there's a dude in here that's straight up Art Spiegelman, right? And that's a really fun scene, right? So even when Dan Pussey tries to go and do legitimate like indie work, it doesn't work out for him, right? And it's just really fun. It is humorous, but it's also kind of sad and tragic because when you know the story of the comic book industry, you know the story of a lot of these creators, like your Jack Kirby, your Joe Schusters, your Bill Fingers, and we can keep going on. There's tons of names of people who, maybe didn't have the best out of the industry, even though they gave the industry the best of everything, right? Anyway, Dan Pussey is funny, but it's also very real and brutally, tragically so. And like I said, a bit of a scathing criticism on the comic book industry and all sides of it too. Like we said, publishers, creators, and even fans. There's bits in here where they're making fun of like the speculation that was going on in the early 90s. There's even a moment where like, man, I heard this book's going to be so valuable. I'm going to get 100 copies. Yeah, I hear it's so valuable. They're printing like 25 million. Wild, cool, fun stuff, poking fun at the industry that we all love and that we're all a part of. Daniel Clowes. The artwork, very cartoony. Daniel Clowes can shift his style. He always picks up on his distinct style, but he can shift his style and do different things. And this is more cartoony, big heads, little bodies, but it really fits the world of Dan Pussey. Or Dan Pussey, however you want to say it, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Pooh-say. But that's kind of the joke in and of itself, too. Anyway, I love this book. I thought it was super strong. I had read some chapters of this before from some homies 8-ball issues, but I've never read it all collected together until a while ago. And rereading it now this year, fantastic. More Daniel Clowes reads coming up soon. More other reads coming up. So thank you so much for checking out the video. What do you think about Daniel Clowes' work? What do you think about Pooh-say? Have you read it? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's keep that conversation going. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And join us over at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop, boom.